Okay, hello, this is Wmpyr here to talk about Mr. Matt Easton's video on the Seven Samurai duel. This is a famous scene where a challenger goes up against the Ronin, and the Ronin joins the Seven Samurai, and he's basically the best swordsman in the Seven Samurai. All right, so what Mr. Matt Easton is saying in this video is you can see in the title he says, but he lied, right? Um, the Challenger and the Ronin go at it twice in this segment. The first time is with wooden swords, and then the second time is with the actual sword, katana sword, and they uh, they fight to the death, in which, of course, the challenger dies, right? So they go up against each other twice, right? And the first time is where Mr. Matt Easton has a problem, and he says, "Wait a minute, that was a draw, okay?" Um, and that's what the challenger says. He says, "Good job" or something. It was a draw, and the Ronin says, "Nope, it wasn't. And if it was a live blade, I would have killed you." He flat out says that, and of course that turns into, "All right, then let's see," that kind of thing. So, but yeah, I remember seeing this back in the day in college, and I thought the exact same thing. I thought, wait a minute, that first part, even though the Ronin said he had the advantage, it didn't look like it to me at all. It was a draw. So what's up with that, right? And I read the comment section. There were several interesting comments posted, and one guy said that he was trying to let the guy save face, you know, and that's why he kind of took it easy on him because he knew that the guy wasn't at his level. And I really don't think so. I don't think it makes sense for him to show the Ronin, to show the challenger that kind of, kindness to a guy that's challenging him. And then also, if he really was trying to let him save face, then why did he say, "No, if it was live blade, you would have died"? That doesn't make sense to me. I think if he really was trying to let the guy save face, when the guy said, "Oh yeah, it was a draw," he would have just walked away and not said anything, and he would have just left before it escalated or anything. I think that's what he would have done, and then the guy would assume that the Ronin was just embarrassed that he didn't win or something, that the Ronin, you know, wasn't able to decisively win, and it ended up being a draw. So the Ronin just left, kind of embarrassed. Um, but in reality, that obviously that's not the case, right? But so I think that's what would have happened if he had really was trying to let this guy save face in front of this crowd. But yeah, the saving face. Just my own 2 cents, my own personal opinion, doesn't really make sense to me. The next part is the other comment was someone said, because the first one was done with wooden swords, the Ronin, he didn't really, it wasn't meaningful to him. So he didn't do his best, and that's why it ended up being a draw. And that doesn't work for me either, that he didn't take that seriously. That doesn't work for me, because to me that is something that I would do. Someone like me who is not um, as awesome of a martial artist as this Ronin is, and I've done it in the past, and I've called myself out on it, and that's what I'm doing right now. I'm calling myself out on my past behavior, saying it was incompetent. And so I have been in a challenge match. Um, well, wait, first let me back up. I have done sparring matches where yes, it's practice, and I took it easy, and I've paid the price, or I was like, that's wrong. I shouldn't have done it that way. And it's not about winning or losing. It's about, why am I doing this? And as a proper martial artist, I believe, I'm not saying that I'm a proper guy, but I believe a proper martial artist would do 100% of the effort, even against the lesser opponent, even in training. And that doesn't mean annihilate the other person with everything you got as if it were a real match. No. What I mean is, like, in my case, I later on discovered, like, like for example, in BJJ, I get put up against someone that is not in my level, and I go, I could kill this person easily, so I'm just gonna like take it easy and save my strength, and then when the real opponent shows up, that's when I'm gonna give it my all, and that's when it's really worth learning. Wrong, because you never underestimate your opponent, and it's really up to you to make it the best out of everything. You need to learn from that. So then I started finding ways to be creative, and so even though this person is a white belt, or this person is physically not as strong as I am, I started putting handicaps on myself and imagining, that we're the same strength level, or when I started training like that, then I was like, oh, I have to give it my best now, even though this person is a white belt and is not at my strength level, or whatever. You find ways to learn, and that is part of, to me, the proper part of the martial path, the Bushido way, which this Ronin is supposed to encompass. So no, I don't think he underestimated the opponent, or took it easy on him, or said, this is just a wooden sword, so who cares, kind of thing. I don't think so. Does this guy look like he lets down his guard like that? No. No, I really don't think so. So that's not convincing to me either. Just my 2 cents. I'm not saying this person's wrong. It's just I have a different viewpoint, is all I'm saying. So then there was the third comment that someone posted, which was very, very detailed. Actually, on the comment section, it was way up above, so it was like the first one I read. But it was very, very, very detailed. And to sum it up in a nutshell, their opinion was basically the Ronin had the better cut, and he knew it. And even though it looked like a draw, he saw his sword position and whatever, and he was like, I got the better cut here. So he didn't explain it to the other guy. He just said, if this was real, I would have killed you. And the other guy was like, no, it's a draw. So it's just a technical understanding was the Ronin had a much better understanding. So I thought that was honestly the best explanation that I read in the comment section. I don't agree with that, but I am in the same line as that way of thinking. But the reason why I don't agree with that is because this person put an elaborate, detailed post. It was a long comment. I don't think the director expected the viewer to understand all that about sword styles and all the, no. So what was the message from the director here? Okay, and I think it's really simple. It's a very, very simple thing. Okay, and the best way I could explain it is the tightrope walking example. All right. So you got the tightrope walking, right? That when you practice it, you do it like 1 foot off the ground, and it's a circus act, right? You balance on the tightrope, and you walk it all the way across. Okay, so in practice, you're doing it off of 1 foot off the ground, like I said, so you could just hop off, on and off easily. But then in real life, you're going to do it 50 foot up in the air. It's the same rope, it's the same length, but it's 50 foot up in the air. You're doing the same thing basically, but oh boy, it's not the same, right? That's what this is. So I bet this challenger is good. He's really good. And he thinks he is for sure. If he's going to challenge a Ronin, especially at the time, samurai have a reputation. So he probably thought he really was good in order for him to challenge this guy. And so he did, He challenged him, and I bet he was good. But once he did that, I think the samurai saw instantly, he knew, oh, this guy is good with a wooden sword, but he hasn't really made that conversion to the live blade. And that is a totally different story. Just like the tightrope walk. Like, this challenger is really good at doing it off of 1 foot off the ground. And he practiced, he's good at it. Okay. But then, you know what? You try it 50 foot off the ground. It's a whole nother story. You do this kind of stuff in front of a crowd. You do it for the title. You do it with your life on the line. You do it with live blade. It's a whole nother story. We see this all the time in boxing and in UFC, where you have a guy who's in the top 10 and he is rookie of the year. He's undefeated. He's doing really, really well. He's wiping the floor with the competition. And now he has the match against the champion. And it's like the champion knows, oh, you haven't done 5 rounds in front of a live crowd with the belt on the line, where if you win this belt, your life's going to change. You haven't done that yet. I've defended this multiple times. So the champion knows that kind of pressure, knows what it's like to go 5 rounds, whereas this guy's only been going 3 rounds because only a title bout is 5 rounds. So that difference, that gap can be, not always, but it can be pretty big. And we've seen it time and time again in the UFC. There's clear-cut examples where, people would have thought, oh, this challenger, oh, he's going to be the next champ. I'm sure a lot of people thought that until they saw the match and they were like, whoa, okay, the champ is a champ for the reason. Yeah, so this is what's happening here. And that's the director's message, which is being good with the wooden sword and being good with the live sword, 2 different things. 2 totally different things. So, simple message. I think that's what it was. Can you go to live blade? It's not a technical thing necessarily. It's not really a, this guy is good, period. With the wooden sword, he is good. But live blade is different. Simple message, in my opinion, and that makes sense to me. So anyway, please check out Mr. Matt Easton's video here. I thought it was a really interesting topic, and I love this movie. I wish I had seen it more times. It is long. It's a super long movie. If you haven't seen it, I do recommend it. I have been lucky enough to have seen it a few times in my life. My dad introduced it to me, and I have fond memories of watching Kurosawa's movies with my dad. But anyway, that's it for now. Thank you for viewing, and take care, folks.